this is Jaya Wagmare and welcome to my YouTube channel. Um, yes, you might have read the title and then clicked on this particular video. We are going to talk about birds, and I'm going to introduce you to this new world of birds or avian fauna. So, even if you are not a birder, but if you wish to start birding, if you're in your school, if you're in your college, and even if you are in your 50s or 60s, doesn't matter, but you can actually start birding any time in your life. So I feel that this particular video might be helpful for you to just start birding if you have been birding since 6 months and you have stopped in between. I feel that this video might be encouraging factor in your life, so that even if you have stopped, you can actually start right away. So let me introduce you to this topic. I have written a few topics which I'm going to discuss in this video, because when it comes to zoology, when it comes to avian fauna, or when it comes to any particular animal or any particular plant, the topic might be very in-depth, and we might lose our track, and because of that I have written few points which I'll be discussing with you all in this video. So even if you're not birder, each and every single person knows few birds, like crow, like sparrows, like pigeons, like parakeets, and there are peacocks and kites. Each and every single person literally know all these birds, because they are really very common birds. We can see them in our backyard, or you can see them in our vicinity, but we do not feel that they need that much attention, or else we do not feel they have any particular kind of role in our environment, or in on our earth. But yes, they are also really important on this planet. Why? Let you know that. So I have just given you an example of crow, then sparrow, and a few other birds. If you see these birds look very different from each other. That means crow have a different body shape, and pigeon have a different body shape. Then sparrow have a different body shape. The colors are also really very diverse. Why is it so? Because these birds have a different feeding habits, and they come from a different type of habitats. uh, when it comes to India, we have a diverse habitat in our country. We have deserts, we have water bodies, we do have Himalaya, we have a dense forest ecosystem, we have grasslands, and apart from these major ecosystems, we have very small ecosystems in our country. And when it comes to different types of habitats, in those different types of habitats, the feeding material, or the food material which is present there, is also varies a lot. So when it comes to crow, and when it comes to sparrow, the body shape is completely different of a crow, and body shape is completely different of a sparrow. Crow has very long and very thick beak, and strong legs, and when it comes to a feet, and when it comes to sparrow has very narrower and very tiny beak, and even their feet, their leg, sparrow's legs are also very fragile, you should say. Why is it so? You'll be getting to know that in my future videos, but right now I'm just going to introduce you to each and every topic of the bird. So when it comes to habitat, these birds dwell in diverse habitat. So few birds are frugivorous, that means they eat or they feed on fruits. Few birds are insectivorous, that means majority of their food is insects. Few birds eat grains, like munias, and like sparrows, they feed on grains. Few birds are frugivorous, or they eat grains as well as they eat flesh also, or they eat other animals too. So these birds are known as omnivorous. That means they eat plant material as well as different animals too. Then after that we have a scavengers like vultures. That means they majority of their food is a dead animal or carcasses. So these birds have a different food habits. Apart from that, when you in the morning, when you hear a call of any particular bird, when it comes to pigeon, when it comes to crow, when it comes to a sparrow, these calls also varies a lot. In general, these bird sound is known as calls. During their breeding season, these generalized calls become very melodious, and because of that they are known as songs. And to protect their territory, or if they feel distress or they feel some danger is coming, then their call becomes very different. So during a distress they do have a different call. So their calls also varies a lot. Apart from that, I have already introduced you to their beak and feet shape. It varies a lot. It is very different. And yes, sexual dimorphism, that is male and female looks differently. It is not, sexual dimorphism is not found in each and every bird. That means when we see their outer body structure, you won't be able to recognize that this is female crow and this is male crow. But when it comes to sparrow, you can identify that this is male sparrow and this is female sparrow. Apart from these birds, there are different birds also where you can identify male and female differently, which is known as sexual dimorphism. After that, why these birds are important in our ecosystem? Like I have already told you that few birds are frugivorous. That means they eat fruit. Few birds eat grains. So whenever half eaten fruit falls on the ground, then what happens? Germination happens. Whenever seeds falls on the ground, what happens? Germination happens. So this is how they help in plantation. Apart from that, few birds like sunbird, which we have in our country. Sunbirds have a down curved beak. You might have seen that bird, very small bird which have a down curved beak. When they enter any flower to feed on nectar, during that process the pollen grains get attached to the beak, and when these birds go on to the other flower, that pollen grains get transferred to that flower, and it reaches to the stigma, and because of that pollination happens, again helps in plantation. And apart from that, there are few birds who feed on dead animals or carcasses. This is how they protect our environment from getting polluted. Apart from that, few birds are insectivorous. So these insectivorous birds feed on different types of or variety of insects and control their populations, and they are known as biological controllers. And in our food web or food chain also, all these birds feed on different other animals, and this is how they are important in our food chain, because now they eat few animals, and few animals make them their prey. So this is how they are important factor in our food chain, or in our food web also. So this is their ecological significance. But apart from that, there are many birders in our country, and not in our country only. In the world there are many birders, and not birders only, the people who like to spend their time in the wilderness, because they like to spend their time watching birds. Why they watch birds, or why they spend their time in the wilderness? Because it gives them happiness. When we see different birds with different colors, with variety of colors, when we see their behavior, when we hear their call, it makes us happy, we feel joy. And this is a recreational value, but again this is really very important value of the bird. So I have already introduced you to a few points which I'll be giving a much more in-depth information in my future videos. But right now, if you're going to start birding, which factors you should look after, like their external body structure, their calls, their behavior. Then comes the type of a habitat where you should search them. Then other factors like other factors, hold on a second. Yeah, like when it comes to ecological significance, it is really very important because it gives you motive to start birding. Actually, after that, I'm going to come in a major factor or major topic in this particular video, is which is your field observations. So majority of us right now use smartphones, but apart from smartphones, if you can carry notebook also, where you can write down, in which you can write down your observations. Now, which factors you should write down, like date, time, then that particular, when you have entered that particular habitat, what kind of atmosphere were there. Then uh, the size. If you do not, if you are able to identify bird, then that's really very good thing. But if you cannot identify bird, you should note down few factors or few features, like body shape. You can draw their silhouette. Then body's beak shape, if possible. If you have seen, observe feet shape. um, where that bird what was present. It was on the ground, eating something, preening their feather, that means cleaning feather, or else it was on any branch or any plant. It was in the shrub, it was in shrubs, or in flight, having a different flying pattern, you can say. So all these factors, even their feather color helps a lot in identification. Sometimes only feather color won't be enough to identify any particular bird. For that, these all these factors or features are also very important. Most of the time, what happens, whenever amateur birders or new birders go onto the field and observe particular bird, and if they do not identify it, and when they approach any particular expert, and sometimes what happens, during that period, during that boarding period, we might have seen few birds. When we go to that expert and we explain features, there are chances that we might explain features of two different birds or three different birds. And what will happen, that expert will get confused, and for that, all these features are really very important. Now, why date, time and atmosphere is important? Because see, if you're going to observe a bird in particular date, and next year also you get a chance to go on birding on that particular date, that means that particular season, that means, have you seen a particular, whatever particular atmosphere you have experienced in earlier years, that same atmosphere was there in the next year, will be there in the next year? Or you have a checklist, and you might have seen um, 10 birds in a previous year, last year. And if in future, if you're visiting a same place again, are you going to observe same number of species? It is going to decrease or increase. Even if right now you feel that, why these factors are important? Yes, these factors are really very important. It helps in scientific studies. It helps researchers to identify why the population is increasing or decreasing. What can be done to to keep that population stable, to keep the variety of population stable, and not population, actually species too, to keep it stable. and is there any degradation is happening. So this kind of information really helps, really very helpful for the researcher and for the research institutes. That is why these factors are really important. So um, now you have started worrying and you do not have any kind of material with you. That is not a problem. You have a smartphone with you. What you can do, you can download few apps. Like we have a Vasai Bird app, Vasai Birds app, we have a Vanya app, then we have a Indian Birds app, we have a Birds of India app. Apart from that, there might be few apps which I might be unaware of. So in my future videos, if I'm not giving some information in this video, I'll be covering that information in my future videos. Apart from that, you can take the help from various books, but right now I'll give away a name of two books, like Birds of the Indian Subcontinent, that is which is written by Richard Cremate, Carol Inscape and Tim Inscape. Apart from that, Birds of Mumbai, written by Sujoy Monga. And apart from that, there are various Facebook groups, there are Instagram pages also, from where you can get the information about these birds. And what I'd like to suggest, if you have camera, that is really very good thing. If you have a binocular, plus point. Even if you do not have anything with you, you don't have a camera, you don't have a book, you do not have a binocular with you, still you can start birding. Because if you have nothing in your hand, your actual focus is completely on that bird, and this is a really very important or major factor to improve your observation, not only about that about birding, nature in general. Actually, most of the time, even if I have a camera or I do have a binocular with me, it is not necessary I always use that. I might use binocular more and camera less, and this happens a majority of time. That actually not happen, I genuinely do that, and because of that my observation has become really very good, and I feel that you'll also get to know it. And see, if you're a student or college student and wish to pursue a career and wish to do birding a lot and make a living out of it, then that's a plus point. And if even if you won't you will not like to make it as a career, but these observation are not going to waste. These observations are really going to help not only you but for the rest of the world. How? Because whatever you have written with you, you can share these things with people who are into wildlife, who are researchers, research scholars, who are you can share this information with with local organizations whose work is dedicated for conservation of floral and faunal diversity. Then there are few international sites like Oriental Bird Club and eBird. You can actually make your checklists and submit it onto eBird, which can be seen by various people from the world, and which will really be very helpful thing for the conservation perspective. How? I'll come to that topic in my next session. So if you have taken photographs, you can share it with your friends in different WhatsApp groups, in Facebook groups, and on your Insta, with the information of that bird, which will help in awareness of any particular species. And if those checklist, I have just told you that what you can do of those checklists. So if you feel that that data is not really very necessary, it is not like that, it is going to help someone. So this is what I have for today. This was a really very introductory topic, where I just want you to just engage yourself with birds, their features. I haven't you know uh, I haven't taken you to each and every topic's depth, but I'll be doing that in future. But for starting, at least I feel that this video might help you. If you have any thoughts related or doubts or questions related to this particular topic or this video, you can definitely write me. I'm going to add my email ID in the description. And thank you very much for watching this video. And like I always say, I'm going to say this in this video too. If you feel that this is an informative video, and whatever videos I have uploaded till now, they are giving some quality information, then you can like my videos, you can share it with your friends, and you can subscribe to my channel, so that in future, whenever I'm going to come to you with my various trail vlogs, my interaction sessions, you'll get that notification on your device. Thank you very much. Have a good day.